Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Hey, I want to share with you something today that kind of, I guess, discouraged me. Maybe is the right word. And I don't get discouraged very often, but somebody sent me a link to a video on YouTube of a parent and a child having a meltdown, and a parent and how they managed it. And first of all, I want to suggest that it's probably not a great idea. It just didn't seem right to me to do a video of my child having a meltdown. Maybe that's just a me thing, but I'm not sure. I think they were trying to help people by showing this meltdown somehow or another and how they managed it. But I don't really suggest doing that very often. You can tell somebody about a meltdown and how you handled it. Showing them your child in that state just doesn't seem very right to me. But beyond that, I do want to suggest to you that how they handle it was not a good way to handle it. And, you know, mine are growing up. My two oldest that are on the spectrum, my two sons that are on the spectrum are 18 and 16 now. And in this video, the little boy was crying because he didn't get to watch the DVD and he didn't want to go to bed. And he wasn't being physical or violent or anything like that. He was just upset and kind of crying and screaming. And you know, that's, my son did a whole lot more than that. My son would get physical and violent when he didn't like something, and you may have experienced that too. And if you haven't, count yourself, well, good for you if you haven't. But some of us have. And in this video, she's telling him to go to bed, and he won't do it, and he just screams louder and louder. And then dad comes in, or stepdad, I guess, comes in, and basically says, "That's enough, you're going to bed." And kind of, he doesn't do anything that you shouldn't do as a parent, but he does physically move him towards bed and put him in bed. And the kid's just having a fit. You guys know how it is. And it just kind of broke my heart to see, you know, other kids in that state, first of all. And second of all, I don't think these parents realize what they're teaching their kids by handling it this way. You know, they're watching us. These kids are watching us. And if your answer to them having a meltdown is to physically put them where you want them to go because you're in charge and they're not, you know, you've got to ask yourself, what lesson are you teaching your kids? And it may be a lesson that goes like this. If I don't like what somebody else is doing, I can physically make them do what I want them to do by being physical. And that turns into violence. Now, this kid didn't look like he had hit maybe puberty age yet, but he's not far from it. And once that testosterone hits this young man, he's going to start thinking he's an adult, and he's going to start doing what adults do. And if adults have taught him that if they want somebody else to do what they say, they're going to make them do what they say, it becomes a real big problem. And you might ask yourself, how do I know that? Because that's what happened to us. There was nothing worse than when my son started to get violent, thinking that was the way to manage things. And I had at one point physically moved him into areas that they needed to go in. Now, I've never been abusive or hit or angry like that, obviously, but that was a way I got them to do what I wanted them to do, and it turned on me at some point. And I had really had to redesign that whole process for my son. And we've gotten to a point now where when he does get frustrated or mad, he doesn't do that because we've modeled that correct behavior for him. And we've taught him how to come back down very quickly. So through modeling more than anything. But if you're interested in knowing how we did it, we do that on our Insiders group. But I can tell you this, pay attention to what you do and how you do it, because they're paying attention. You might not think they are, but if they think that, okay, when I become an adult, I can make someone else do what I want because that's what my parents did with me, then there's a better than good chance that's what they're going to do once they start to hit puberty, because they get a little, well, the girls do it too. And I've heard this from a lot of families we've worked with. It can be solved, but the time to solve it is before it really starts to happen on a real heavy scale basis. So be careful. Don't physically move them. Be kind and loving and generous in the way you ask them to do things. You know, that's one of our videos. It's requests versus commands. And you might say, well, that's my son and I'm the parent, so they're going to do what I say. And that's fine. But at some point, they're going to get bigger. And if you're teaching them that bigger means control, then they're going to start wanting to take control. So just a cautionary tale from our family to yours. If you want to know how we do it, we do a lot of that in our insiders. We give you the techniques and walk you through how you can manage things in a way that allows them to really excel and really reach their full potential and really lower the stress in your home. So if you need that help, reach out to me. Have a great day, guys. Be careful what you're teaching your kids by your actions. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.